If you clicked on this video, I can assume only one thing: you love video games. And so do I. But we're always exposed to the AAA titles and the super hyped up indie developers and publishers. But what about the diamonds in the rough? What about the solo, two-man teams that are out there creating their works of love and putting it to the world? So many games are created every single day, but nobody plays them and nobody knows about them. So I took it on me to find some diamonds in the rough and see if there's actually something out there in the abyss that will satisfy our needs. Now, these three games are three different horror games from itch.io, and these are all from solo developers. Some people making some video games potentially in their basement, their laptops, I don't really know where, but we're just gonna give them a fair shot. I know nothing about them. I went to the page, I scrolled down it, and I just clicked, and I got these three. So I'm gonna play them and see exactly what they're like personally. Now, a little bit of background about myself. I did go to video game design school for about 3 years until I was told that the video game landscape isn't really great and that I will never get a job. That's literally what my professor said to me. So I dropped out, but I spent some good time in there. So I kind of get the premise of making a video game and what it takes. Now, I'm not gonna be extremely harsh because I know how hard it is, but I will not shy away from giving some constructive criticism about the game and where the developer could improve on their video game. Because if I was making a game, I'd want somebody to do that for me. So without further ado, let's get into the very first game of this evening. Tornuktu, as described by the developer Johnny Games, is less of a game and more of a linear horror experience. You find yourself unable to sleep, you decide to move to the living room and start reading an old book your mom bought you at the bookstore. As the night goes on, strange things start to happen. As a gamer, what you immediately notice is that you are a child's height, which I will give a big round of applause for. I think that's a great touch. And the atmosphere of being home alone-ish is very unsettling, and they do a good job at filling the environment. And I think the environment really gives you a nice anxiety that sets you up for some good scare moments. Oh, hell no. Why are you even looking up there, bro? However, after being scared a few times, you're always called back to this book and you have to read the passage. Now, these passages do build the story and they kind of foreshadow what's gonna happen to you next. But to me, personally, I wish there was more exploring throughout the house, like finding items, maybe trying to interact with the parents in the home. But I get it, this isn't an RPG, it's a horror game, so let's talk about the monster. Now, the monster in this game does have its moments. This part really scared me, I'm not gonna lie, when they killed my parents. Oh, my dad just died. Now, in the final moments of this game, the monster makes its big reveal, and to me, it's just a little bit lackluster. You barely see it because you don't know where it spawns, and then it just kind of shows up behind you, and by the time you realize what's going on, the game goes to black. I saw like a glimpse of it, so I never really got to appreciate it, and I wish I did because my favorite part about these games is the monster. Tornuktu did a good job at building the atmosphere with sound and visuals, but honestly, I just wanted more monster. I think the fear level was good building up to it, but by the end, you're just not really as scared as you wanted to be. But before I show you guys my review, I just want to tell you exactly what a 5-star is and what a 1-star is. A 5-star is an absolute classic, a must play. They have the atmosphere, it scares the living out of you, and it also has a good gameplay loop that you enjoy. And a 1-star is completely broken. I don't even know what this atmosphere is. Like, did you do this last night off a couple meals? So my review of Tornuktu is a 3 out of 5 stars. I cannot say the name correctly, I know that, but overall, I just think the monster wasn't really there for me, and it just didn't really satisfy that itch at the end of the day. The one where you just want to get a little bit more scared. I think this would do if you're under the age of 13, like you stole your mom's Chromebook and you're like, oh my goodness, and you want to scare, it would scare them. Now let's move on to game number 2. I'm talking about Camping Trip. Camping Trip was created by Barboot Games. This is their first ever game. It's a short single-player horror game inspired by the PSX style, which you can immediately notice once you start walking around in this game. The atmosphere is very well done for someone's very first video game. However, though, for this outdoor setting, I was hoping to have a little bit more wildlife at play besides just one deceased creature. I think just adding a deer or a bunny or two, maybe 3, would help increase the player's immersion into the forest atmosphere, but they do have characters in this game, so let's talk about them. Jacob is from your hometown and invited you out to come to this camping trip with him and his girlfriend. You guys are buddies. And then you got his girlfriend Jane, who I feel like you at one point had a relationship with because you guys have this weird banter that I just think is strange. Now, the first taste of gameplay you really experience is picking up these sticks and starting a fire so that Jacob can have some marshmallows, and Jacob does love his marshmallows, but while you're picking up these sticks, you're grumbling in the forest, and that's the first time you hear the threat. The monster. After having some marshmallows with Jacob, you realize that you forgot your tent in your car. I don't know how you forget your tent. It was a little frustrating to have to go back to the place I just started to get something, but on the way back, you do run into an old man standing over the dead capybara. And he is from the Hunter Association. He's telling you, well, something dangerous must be out here because there's this dead animal. And I'm like, duh, I saw it earlier. I don't know why, but yeah. I think that this is their attempt to try to build up some tension and make the player feel a little uneasy. It just doesn't really land here. It just seems a little too obvious and a little too generic. Now, as soon as you get back to the car and get your tent, it goes pitch black dark. I mean, we go from dawn to complete utter darkness, but you start walking and then immediately you notice the creature is following you. And it's kind of hard to see at first because of the style of the game, but once you get a good look at it, well, I'm just gonna let me playing the game explain what I think what it looks like. That's like literally Stitch if he got into fentanyl. As you notice, the creature just stops and stares at you, so there might have been a little bit of a bug here, but we end up going back to the Hunter's Lounge to get the gun, and for some reason, this thing hits me like a linebacker and I die. I lose. But at no point did I ever feel scared. This game didn't really elevate me to any sort of fear. Scare is just so obvious. The monster doesn't really do much, but the cool thing they did have was alternate endings. So I had to try another one. After doing the fastest speed run I've ever done in my life, instead of going to the Hunter's Lounge, I go to the campsite, and to what I was surprised of, Jacob and Jane were both dead. I honestly thought they'd be alive and panicking, but no, they were just bits and pieces. So, GG's. But this time I do get the gun, and I do finish off the creature and get the good ending. Whoopee! But besides getting the good ending, I don't think this game was actually good. I think it's a good first game that they've ever made, because honestly, anything you do creatively, the first time you ever do it, it's just not gonna be your best work, but it's good enough to put it out there. I mean, that's a great, fantastic job, just to take that leap of faith. But my one constructive criticism would be, have a little bit more tension building, especially in the horror genre. I just feel like it fell a little flat, but I did enjoy the characters, and I did enjoy the overall atmosphere. But just the monster and the overall scare just was not there at all this game. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5, but itch.io only lets me do 2. So 2.5 for me, but a 2 on itch.io. Now let's talk about the last game I played, looking for the diamonds in the rough. Cleaning Service is a psychological horror game in which you take the role of a house cleaner. As soon as you press play, you spawn in a home that is pitch black. You must turn on the light to see a dirty, dirty home, at which your job is to clean up all the trash and filth in it. Yes, you are just a cleaner cleaning a home. And in my interpretation, that is the horror of the game. Cleaning for fun is just not fun. It's really scary. Like, why am I sitting here spending time cleaning in a game? Could be doing this in real life, but I'm not. So it's really just like, oh God, man, like a deep spiral once you start really thinking about it. I will say that there is this eeriness to the environment. There just seems to be trash everywhere and there's filth everywhere, which to me is a little disgusting and honestly kind of builds up the anxiety on the player. You just feel off the whole entire time you're playing this game. Like, did they just like straight up poop on the floor? I'm so confused. There's not much story with Cleaning Service, but there is this. There are bugs in the game, and this one really sent me. I mean, we got to like the amount of trash we needed, but then I went over the amount somehow. Like one bag just spawned randomly. I had to restart and pick up the trash all again. This is the true horror of it all, I swear. After that, it's business as usual at the second house. You just kind of clean it up. And then on the third house, this is when the game starts to get interesting. It's nighttime, you're on your final shift, and you're going in this home. And as you're cleaning, boom, the lights go out. I don't know about y'all, but if the lights go out anywhere, I'm out. I'm not staying around, because you know what happens in the dark? Monsters come out in the dark. And now I'm cleaning up, but my guy doesn't seem phased. It's just like business as usual. He just flicked out the flashlight and we got to work. However, in this home, you find some weird objects laying around, and especially in this room. What the is this? After seeing something like this, I left immediately, but my character just wanted to stay and do the job. Is this like a normal thing for him? And with that thought popping in my head, I slowly started to realize that maybe I'm a cleaning service for special kind of events. But oh my goodness, did this game ruin the immersion for me. It had a bug on the very last level on the last trash bag. It disappeared and you can't find it anywhere. Spent 20 minutes looking for it and I hit R to reset and pick up the trash again. And this was devastating. But we must complete the game, so I do it all again, and I finally get to go get the broom, which is in the basement, which I felt like would have been scarier if I wasn't just fuming from having to restart this game again. But the horror juices aren't gonna clean themselves, so we got it done, and you just go back to your car and go home. But I found the basketball at the house, so I had to hit a quick jumper before going in and eating. And this is the final moment of the game, which I think was supposed to be pretty unsettling, but you go to find some food and the fridge is empty, and then you go and check your other closets, and there's a body in there. And you're like, oh my God, it's a dead body. And then you spawn at your seat at the dinner table with some flesh in front of you and the head on the cutting board. So you're a cannibal. I don't think this was a surprise to me because your guy's kind of weird and you just did not flinch at any of the crazy stuff happening in the last house, you know, like the giant donkey head in a demon circle. So I'm not really surprised, and for me personally, I was completely out of it at this point from all the bugs. So the ending really didn't smack me in the face like it could smack some others because I wasn't fully immersed in the game at this point. But after editing this video and watching some of the gameplay and remembering the scary moments in this game, like when the lights turn off and the overall disgusting atmosphere, this game is good. I just think the bugs just really took it out of me, and I initially gave this game a 1 star because the bugs absolutely tilted me. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it deserves more or less a 3.5. I can't give it a 4 or a 3, so I'm gonna give it a 3 on itch.io, but I started off with a 1. Overall, I don't think we found the diamond in the rough I was searching for. These games were definitely passable. They just did not scratch the itch that I was looking for on itch.io. So thank you guys for watching the video, and if you enjoyed this one, we got a juicy load of more content talking about some of the greatest games in the past. And if you guys would like to leave a comment talking about potentially what games I should try next, if I should do another one of these, or if there's anything you would just like to ask me in the comments, they are muchly greatly appreciated, and I will always respond to you. You guys have a great rest of your day, and YouTube, they think you right there watching is gonna like this video right here, this one I made personally, and it's gonna get it for you, man. It's gonna really scratch that itch.